I once waited on a divorced mother who forced me to plug in her white noise machine in the middle of a crowded restaurant, then turned around and called me a wop just for bringing her water. But that was only the beginning. When she began proudly talking about sexualizing her 9-year-old daughter as some twisted form of revenge on her gay ex-husband, my boss called CPS. The fallout. She keyed a vulgar slur into my car, got me doxxed by Facebook mom groups, and sued us while her new gym-obsessed boyfriend led a social media war to destroy our restaurant. I worked in a place wedged between an elementary school and a tech plaza in Silicon Valley, so my days were mostly filled with kids and overprivileged moms who sipped oat milk lattes and tipped no more than 10%, no matter how outrageous their requests were. But one customer, Delina, was something else entirely. She once walked in dragging a large black duffel bag, dropped it in the center of the dining room, and barked, "Can I get?" Her daughter, all of 9, stood beside her looking like she wanted the ground to swallow her whole. I approached quickly, hoping to diffuse whatever storm was coming. Delina shoved a long cord at me. "This is my white noise machine. I can't eat without it. Plug it in." I stared at her like she'd grown 2 heads. "What are you waiting for? Christmas? Plug it in." I wanted to wrap that cord around her neck, but my boss Maria was watching. Maria, usually laid back and sweet, gave me a sharp look. "Go help her," she said, tone clipped. So I did. But I couldn't understand why Maria, who normally let us take espresso shots on the clock and sneak fries, was indulging this madness. The machine disrupted the entire restaurant, humming like a jet engine. Delina didn't stop there. Within 5 minutes, she'd pinched my thigh and offered me unsolicited weight loss advice, complained that there were water spots on the forks, and turned off the restaurant's overhead lights because they made her look washed out. When I finally took her absurd order, a plate of lettuce with exactly 1 cherry tomato, Maria leaned in and finally explained. Delina was in the middle of a messy divorce. Her husband had left her for another man. Honestly, it tracked. If I had to live with Delina, I'd probably switch teams too. Maria gave me the look again, soft eyes, pleading tone. "Try to show empathy," she said. I didn't want to, but Maria had been the kind of boss you'd dream about. So I nodded, bit my tongue, and faked a smile. The next day, Delina came in again. She looked rough, hair frazzled, makeup smeared, like she'd been crying into her Tesla's steering wheel. I almost felt bad for nicknaming her dollar store Kardashian. Almost. That was before she handed me a gift. It was an at-home STD testing kit. "I know your type," she hissed. "You might fool the boys at your little school, but I know a WHE when I see one." Her eyes were pure chaos. Her daughter looked like she was going to break down right there. I wanted to scream, but Maria caught my eye again. That damn look. So I forced a smile and gritted, "I'm clean, ma'am," before walking away. The next day, she returned. White noise machine a doll. I was on the edge when my favorite couple, Andrew and Steven, walked in. Sweet guys, tipped 40%, always offered me bites of their fries. But Delina, she spotted them, stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor, and screeched, "This is a family restaurant." Silence fell. Andrew ignored her. Steven, not so much. Delina jabbed a finger at their table. "It's bad enough my husband turned into one of them. Now I have to watch this while I eat?" Maria rushed over, apologizing, explaining Delina was going through something. Andrew and Steven tried to be gracious, but they still laughed. I nearly quit that day. Maria had to beg and bribe me with a mango julipad. Then came the final straw. Delina showed up beaming, wearing a skin-tight celebrity costume, in the middle of summer. Her daughter followed behind in a matching version. "My daughter is finally a woman," she announced proudly. Everyone froze. "She's turning into such a heartbreaker. Probably getting more action than you," she added, staring directly at me. I felt sick. This woman was using her daughter as a prop to spite her ex. That's when Maria finally snapped. She strode over, calm and cold, and dropped a bill on the table. I've been patient. We all have. But this ends now. Excuse me? Delina spat. For 6 months, every time you've eaten here and abused my staff, I've matched your bill and donated the amount to an LGBTQ youth shelter. In your name, you've raised over $3,000. Delina's jaw dropped. They're sending you a plaque. The entire restaurant was silent. Some laughed, but I was still haunted by the daughter's eyes. And then, CPS walked in. 2 agents stepped through the doors. The girl immediately ducked behind me, her small hands grabbing my apron. Please don't let them take me to foster care, she whispered. Her words chilled me. Delina's face transformed instantly. From dragon to angel. She straightened her skirt, pasted on a warm smile, and glided toward the agents like she owned the place. Welcome to our humble little eatery. Please try the lunch special. On the house. Maria stepped in, calm and firm. We've been recording the dining room for 3 months for security. Happy to provide footage. Phones came out. The younger CPS worker warned everyone not to post. But you could tell a few still were. The little girl squeezed my hand tighter. I squeezed back. Delina saw it, and her face turned to stone. Then her phone rang. Marcus, her ex. She answered on speaker. You set this up, didn't you? You sick freak. She yelled, not realizing everyone could hear. Her daughter begged them both to stop. The tension was unbearable. Outside, CPS calmly broke the news. They'd received reports from. She's touching my daughter. She shrieked, pointing at our hands. I stepped away instantly. Marcus, still on the phone, mentioned his partner James had been getting threatening texts from Delina. Vile stuff about turning their daughter against bad influences. Lack of concrete proof of danger. She walked out of court smirking. She started dating a local gym trainer who immediately began posting about our restaurant, trying to twist the narrative into us being the villains. His TikToks went viral. My Instagram became ammunition. Every harmless story was reframed into evidence. A coffee selfie, proof of erratic behavior, a group photo at a bar, proof I was unfit to work near children. Now I second-guess every word, every post. Because this battle, it's nowhere near over. I couldn't believe I was living this. The woman from the patio, the one who blasted white noise at full volume and insulted me for serving her water, was now posting revenge threats against our restaurant. Why? Because we'd asked her to lower her machine that day. That was it. Her name was Delina. I tried to brush it all off, even laughed nervously about it with co-workers. But then one of our regulars, an old lady who comes in 3 times a week, called me over. I saw that woman's video, she said, eyes wide. She's dangerous. I asked what she meant, and she pulled up a post on her phone. Delina was telling her followers she planned to get all of us fired and ruined. And she wasn't done. Every child deserves a safe place, she wrote. But my daughter was traumatized by the staff at redacted restaurant name, and now we are going to take them down. She filmed her daughter crying in the car, claiming we had mocked her sensory needs and refused to accommodate her white noise machine. The comments under the post, thousands of them, and many were threats. I was stunned. No one had mocked anyone. All we'd done was politely ask her to turn down the volume because customers on the other side of the patio couldn't hear their own conversations. But none of that mattered now. In her version, we were villains. Within hours, the restaurant's Yelp, TripAdvisor, and Google listings were flooded with 1-star reviews, all copy-paste rants about ableism and cruelty. None of them were from people who'd even been there. We lost a quarter of our dinner business that week. My manager pulled me aside. "Did you do or say anything to that woman? Anything at all?" I told her no. I told her everything. She believed me. But corporate didn't care. They told us to be more sensitive next time. The next time? What next time? I went home that night and couldn't sleep. I kept refreshing her social media. And I saw a new post. Her daughter was now refusing to eat, crying herself to sleep, and asking why bad people are allowed to be mean to us. She'd added sad piano music to the video. People in the comments were asking for our names. Then she tagged me. Full name, full photo, screenshot from my private Facebook, and a caption. This was the one who said my daughter's disability was annoying. I hadn't said that. I had never said anything remotely like that. I'm the oldest of 4 siblings. My youngest sister is nonverbal autistic. I would never say that. I reported the post. It was taken down, then re-uploaded with blurred text and the caption, "You know who you are." The next day, I got a message on Instagram. "You are going to pay for what you did to that child." My stomach dropped. I started locking my bedroom door at night. I stopped going out. I was scared I'd run into someone who believed the lies. Then it got worse. Delina came back to the restaurant. She walked in during brunch, no reservation, and sat down with a camera clip to her purse. I recognized her immediately and told my manager. She said, "We're not allowed to refuse service unless she's disruptive." But I knew what she was doing. She wanted a scene. She wanted more content. When I brought water to her table, I smiled. "Let me know if you need anything." She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "We need space and quiet. If your staff can't handle that, maybe you shouldn't be working in hospitality." Her daughter was playing a game on a tablet. She looked totally fine. I said, "Of course. If you'd like a quieter area, we have indoor seating available today." Delina's voice rose instantly. "So now you're kicking us inside because my daughter is different? Are you denying us the patio again? On camera?" She gestured to her purse. The red recording light blinked. My manager rushed over and intervened. "We're happy to serve you wherever you're comfortable. Would you like some menus?" Delina muttered something and pulled out a small Bluetooth speaker from her bag. It started playing Ocean Waves, loud. A customer nearby turned and raised an eyebrow. Another couple looked annoyed. I knew where this was heading. Sure enough, within an hour, she posted a new video titled, "They Tried to Humiliate My Child Again." Except this time, she edited it. She clipped my voice to sound like I said, "We don't allow people like you on the patio." That's not what I said at all. My friends started texting, "Why is your face on TikTok?" The video got 800,000 views in a day. I cried in the walk-in fridge. One of the line cooks gave me a hug. The next morning, I woke up to find my car keyed. Every panel, words scratched in deep, ableist. I couldn't prove it was her, but I knew. I just knew. That week, a group of her followers came into the restaurant. They ordered food, left menus soaked in ketchup, and wrote liars on the check with a Sharpie. One of them filmed me bussing the table and posted it online with the caption, "She didn't look so smug this time." It didn't stop. It never stopped. Delina claimed she was protecting her child, but she was turning her into a social media weapon. That little girl wasn't a victim, she was a prop. And the worst part? The system didn't care. Not the platform. Not the police. Not the restaurant. Eventually, I had to leave. I changed my number, moved apartments, started over in another. One of them filmed me bussing the table and posted it online with the caption, "She didn't look so smug this time." It didn't stop. It never stopped. Delina claimed she was protecting her child, but she was turning her into a social media weapon. That little girl wasn't a victim, she was a prop. And the worst part? The system didn't care. Not the platform. Not the police. Not the restaurant. Eventually, I had to leave. I changed my number, moved apartments, started over in another city. But sometimes I still check her page, and she's still doing it. Different restaurant, different incident, same script. Her daughter is always crying. And Delina? Always filming. The narrator, a server at a restaurant near a school and tech plaza in Silicon Valley, encountered an extremely volatile customer named Delina, a recently divorced mother in the middle of a bitter custody battle. Delina repeatedly harassed the staff, brought a white noise machine into the dining area, insulted the narrator with slurs, and behaved in increasingly erratic and offensive ways, including using her 9-year-old daughter to provoke her gay ex-husband. The situation escalated when Delina made inappropriate comments about her daughter's appearance and accused others of corrupting her. After she verbally attacked a gay couple in the restaurant, the narrator's boss, Maria, decided to take a stand. Maria revealed she had been donating Delina's bill amount to LGBTQ youth shelters for months. That same day, CPS showed up, and the daughter begged not to go into foster care. It was revealed that Delina's behavior had already raised red flags at the daughter's school. After a dramatic confrontation and more lies from Delina, custody was granted temporarily to the ex-husband, Marcus. In retaliation, Delina vandalized the narrator's car, got her doxxed, and launched a smear campaign online. Her gym trainer boyfriend added fuel by attacking the restaurant on TikTok. The restaurant faced lawsuits, staff surveillance by a PI, social media slander, and corporate pressure to fire the narrator, who refused to back down, even after court-ordered supervised visitation was in. The narrator recounts a nightmare experience with a vengeful customer named Delina, who turned a minor incident at a restaurant into a full-blown campaign of harassment. After being politely asked to lower the volume on her white noise machine during a previous visit, Delina retaliated by accusing the restaurant staff of ableism on social media. She filmed her daughter crying and falsely claimed the staff had mocked her sensory needs. The online backlash was swift and severe. Fake one-star reviews flooded the restaurant's pages, business declined, and the narrator was personally targeted. Delina posted the narrator's full name and photo, falsely accusing her of calling her daughter annoying. Threats followed, forcing the narrator to live in fear and lock herself in her room at night. Delina returned to the restaurant later, this time recording the visit and deliberately provoking conflict to fabricate another viral video. She edited footage to make it seem like the narrator said something discriminatory, which led to another viral backlash. The narrator's car was vandalized, and followers of Delina came to the restaurant to harass the staff. The situation spiraled out of control. Delina kept using her daughter as a tool for content, fabricating new incidents for sympathy and attention. Despite everything, the system offered no help. The narrator eventually quit her job, moved cities, and started over, but discover. Here's a breakdown of the conclusion. Grief and delusion. The narrator's father is unable to cope with the loss of his son Tyler, who died in a bus crash. This grief leads to a delusion, where he becomes convinced that Jeremy, a boy who resembles Tyler, is actually his son. Obsession. The father's delusion turns into an obsession, causing him to pursue Jeremy and try to convince him that he's Tyler. This obsession leads to disturbing behavior, such as leaving Tyler's glove on Jeremy's porch and sending anonymous emails. Downfall and institutionalization. The father's actions become increasingly erratic and harmful, ultimately leading to his institutionalization in a psychiatric facility. This downfall is a direct result of his inability to cope with grief and his subsequent delusion. Consequences for the narrator. The narrator, Chris, is left to deal with the consequences of his father's actions. He's forced to confront the reality of his father's mental state and the harm caused by his obsession. This experience likely has a profound impact on Chris, shaping his understanding of grief, trauma, and the complexities of the human psyche. The destructive power of grief. The story highlights the devastating consequences of unchecked grief and the dangers of becoming trapped in the past. The father's inability to let go of his son leads to a downward spiral of delusion, obsession, and ultimately, destruction. The blurred lines between reality and fantasy. The narrative also explores the theme of blurred reality and fantasy. The father's conviction that Jeremy is Tyler raises questions about the nature of identity, trauma, and the human psyche. This ambiguity leaves the reader wondering about the boundaries between reality and fantasy. The emotional toll on loved ones. The story emphasizes the emotional toll that the father's actions take on his loved ones, particularly Chris. The narrator's experiences serve as a reminder of the ripple effects of trauma and the importance of seeking support and healing.